Let's start that one over because it's a great tune. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Saturday Morning Toy Tunes. It's my weekly live stream on YouTube where I and you lament the lack of Saturday morning Toy Tunes, cartoons in our lives. We got plenty of Toy Tunes. Those are playing right now. And try to make up for that the loss of those cartoons by gathering around the modern day virtual campfire that is our PCs and or cell phones and talking about all things geeky. Things that we would be talking about after Saturday morning cartoons on the playground or at the park or in each other's backyards over a barbecue pit, perhaps. I don't know. I'm starting to lose track of what I did in the 80s. I need to sit there and focus on it. Anyway, today's show, we're going to be talking about all kinds of things. First of all, I got to go see Anthrax. That's right. I got my Monsters of Rock patch. You can't see it, but I feel it. It's there. It's there, I swear. And so I'm going to talk about that a little bit. Got to get a ticket from Bad Wolf Media, our very own Bad Wolf Media. Thank you, Mike. And also we're going to be talking about the Bad Batch, because I got a couple things to say about that. Obviously, the topic du jour these days seems to be The Last of Us. Everybody's talking about The Last of Us. Even my ex is talking about The Last of Us, and she hates pop culture. Hates it. Weird, right? Man, with a burning fiery passion. One would almost consider it to be neurotic. Forgot to clean my glasses again. I'm frequently doing that on Saturday Morning Toy Tunes. If you've watched it enough, you can probably see me do it at least once. In fact, it should probably become, if we ever have a drinking game, which why would we? Because who drinks in the mornings? Of course, I suppose that my friends in England, it's tea time over there right now, I understand. But I have friends further east than that for whom it's probably happy hour. I'm almost out of coffee already. That's not a good start to the show, everybody. Yeah, so we're going to be talking about Anthrax. We're going to be talking about the Bad Batch. We're going to be talking about The Last of Us. And we're going to be talking about my books, which I screwed up. I took them in the living room, so when we do talk about them, I'm going to have to go fetch them. Did you see that stack of books that I had in the thumbnail? Because it's a massive one. I don't know how much it weighed, but it was a freaking lot. That strain on my face, that was real. It's true. I'm terribly out of shape. Having said that, I have, since the beginning of last week, lost 6 pounds. That's right. I'm 6 pounds lighter than I was last week. That's through heavy dieting. That's not... Pretty sure it doesn't mean that I have cancer. But it might. So I celebrated today by making... I celebrated all that weight loss, my successful weight loss attempts, by eating 3 really big fat breakfast tacos this morning. So there will be no pastries on today's show. Perhaps never again, because I'm really, really enjoying feeling lighter. And that is that. Oh, okay, so before we move on, I want to say hi to everybody. Rolling up to the top, Steve 131 once again has the luxury of being across the big pond, so he chimed in a whopping 45 minutes early with his afternoon greeting. I'm just going to come over here so that I can see things in OBS. Yes, you can see Steve's comment. Hello, Steve. Thanks for joining us so early. I love it when you guys talk Brit. I have no idea what that means, and I think that for a Yank, I'm pretty conversant. I just dropped my notebook. I'm going to pay for that later. All right, but moving right along. Yeah, he's back here, I'm assuming so. Oh, Terry Smith is here. That's good to know. All right. Close one. Keith Lee is in the house. Got here early as well. Steve Nara is here. How's work going, buddy? You told me that you weren't going to be able to chime in for this live stream because you're going to be working, but I can assume that since you're working on a Saturday, you're probably not feeling too good about it. I know when I have to work on Saturdays, I'm not feeling too terribly good about it. My Saturday is going to consist of... Well, we'll get to that in a bit. David Lynch says it is snowing where he is. I've once again forgotten where you're at, Steve. David, rather. I know where Steve is. IG11 hit yesterday? You mean you actually got one finally? I mean, not that I'm judging. Not that I'm judging. I mean, some collectibles take longer than others to get into people's hands. I only recently got the Tron Light Cycle. I actually said cycle that time and not cycle. If you watch my Tron Light Cycle video, you'll notice that I frequently say cycle. Cycle. Some voiceover artist. I can't even pronounce English. Rob Parisho's in the house rapping about wow. Oh, cool. You're familiar with Mortensen. That's awesome. One of the books in that stack of books was American Grotesque, featuring the art of Philip Mortensen? My photo geek card just got taken away. Anyway, I'm just gonna go ahead and grab that really quick. Oh my God, there's a lot of books. Yeah, rapping about this one, huh? There it is. The Art of William Mortensen. Philip, William, you know, names of kings. Yeah, I knew it was something royal. But the cool thing about this guy, about William Mortensen, apart from the fact that his stuff is just really bizarre and cool, from back in the early days of photography, the early part of the 20th century, back in Ansel Adams days. In fact, there's a quote here from Ansel Adams about Mortensen that, frankly, just says it all. For us, Mortensen was the Antichrist. They hated each other. That's actually what got me into it. I was just like, okay, if Ansel Adams is going to hate on somebody, that's somebody that I want to get to know. Not that I have anything against Ansel Adams. I think his stuff was technically great. But it's also a little dull. Yeah, I said it. Speaking of drop books, let's get this thing back, because I do love a cheat sheet. I have it in size cool. That's not true. That's not true. I got through by the power of my brain. Certainly wasn't studying. Okay, looks like Keith Lee is back. Keith Lee and Allie Lee are back from Breckenridge, Colorado. They just took a ski trip. Those of you who are following them on social media saw that they were having a really, really good time this week, while the rest of us were slaving away at the daily grind at our regular jobs. So thanks. No, just kidding, man. I'm glad you guys had a good time. You all work hard, so I'm sure you definitely earned it. Moving right along. Bad Wolf Media is in the house. Hello, Mike. Thank you very much for the good time the other night. I wish we had more time to chat than we actually did, but it was a great show. For those of you who aren't aware, Anthrax is currently touring, being supported by Black Label Society and Exodus, and they stopped in Chesterfield in Missouri at the factory, and Mike, or Bad Wolf Media, had an extra ticket, and he hooked me up. He hooked me up in more ways than one, because he also hooked me up with official Bad Wolf Media merch. Who's jealous? Who's jealous? This is rad. This is rad. I like that one a lot. Anyway, one of those is going to go onto the side of my toolbox where I put all my favorite stickers, and the rest will, who knows? Who knows? Not going to put one on my car. I got enough stickers on the Audi. That's right, I put stickers on my Audi. I do it just for the irony. I just like the idea of somebody who just is just like, it's an Audi. I'm just going to put stickers on it. Fuck it. Gina B Collecting is here from the Great White North of Canada. Hey, Gina, it's good to see you as always. Let's see, moving right along. There's a TK421 Collectibles is in the house. One of my newest Facebook friends. Thank you for connecting with me there. Brandy Woods is here. Hey, Brandy Woods. Oh, we got a wink. We got a wink. I'm not sure who that was for, but Commander Green, Harold is in the house. Hey, how's it going, dude? How's it going? I'm sure everybody by now has to have followed Commander Green on Instagram. He is still, well, oh God. I forgot to swirl my coffee. It's going to be weak now. Anyway, whatever. Harold is a great figure photographer. His Instagram net handle is the exact same as his handle here on YouTube. So follow him there. Marvel at the awesome figures that he collects. I'm really kind of living my photography life vicariously through people like Harold, and through people like Kumar, and through people like Ahmed at Figurazic Park. So it's been a lot of fun watching those guys shoot, and it's been a little bit inspirational to say the least. I think they're going to be dragging me back into the actual photography scene. This figure photography scene more so. I'm really kind of wanting to dive back into doing more videos on my YouTube channel. That is actually shooting, editing, featuring a figure, that kind of thing. We'll see. Right now I'm pretty eager. I have 3 videos in mind to get out of the gate. The first will feature all the Sideshow droids, except R2. I think my R2 was stolen from me. Yeah, my Sideshow R2 was stolen from me. But I suppose I get the one a Hot Toys one just to like supplement it. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. The other video that I'm thinking about doing is I have every single Boba Fett created, almost every single Boba Fett created in 6 scale. The only ones that I'm missing are the Metacom and the original, which I'm never going to buy, the Metacom, and the original Sideshow Boba Fett with the base, because I got the subsequent Sideshow Boba Fett that had all the improvements on it. I don't really feel too guilty about getting rid of that one. I actually do have the base, the similar base that came with IG-88, so that's still there. Is everybody hearing me okay? Nobody stepped up and said that they can't hear anything. Okay, good. All right, so I can see that people are hearing me, so that's good. No need to answer that one. The 4th video. So, oh yeah, I'm planning on doing a video of every single version of Boba Fett that I have in my house, and that's a lot. That is so many Boba Fetts. OG Sideshow, Boba Fett prototype by Sideshow. Every single one that Hot Toys has released. All of them, up to and including, obviously, Arena Suit Fett, which is sitting right over here. I've got, yeah, the Boba Fett on throne, only not on the throne right now. Yeah, they're all here. They're all here. They're all going to get featured in a video. 3rd video, and this is the big one. Yeah, I know what you're thinking right now. Bigger than Fett? Bigger than all the Fetts? Yeah. Because I have every single Sideshow clone trooper ever produced. And I'm going to try to find a way to squeeze them all onto a screen and feature every single one in turnarounds and just showcase them all for everybody in a single video. I'm sure there are other people out there who can make that claim. I don't know how many of those people who can make that claim are actually making videos. I'm hopefully, if they have done this, if somebody's done this, then I can bring something new to the table. I actually haven't done a search to see if anybody has a photo or video of every single Sideshow figure ever produced. Actually, it kind of would be cool to get a single photo, like a class reunion photo. Just have them all lined up on a couple of tiers, like the risers that the choir used to use, and just do that. But moving right along, that's my plans for videos for the future. Thanks Commander Green for showing up here and helping me go off on that tangent. The ADHD is strong with this one, and so is this coffee. Stronger than I expected. AJ Agrusa is here. Hello, bearded one. Your beard is magnificent, dude. Seriously, beard envy every single time I see, and that's just on your little tiny thumbnail, tiny, and it still just looks. It's like it's breaking free of the frame. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Moving right on. Kumar is here, dude. The photos you sent me of your display, the photo that you sent me of your display on Instagram was chef's kiss good, dude. You've got the posing thing down. You seriously, I mean, it's like if there were an actual pose master or poser army, like Witchfinder generals, you know, that kind of thing from Good Omens, I would definitely have to like recruit you for my pose master army, if that's a thing, if that were ever to be a thing. Maybe it should be a thing. I thought about creating the posing posse. You know how like Paul has his bitter brigade. I'm thinking posing posse. Sound off in the chats. Let me know what you think of that. Would you join the posing posse? I frequently forget to clean my glasses on screen and off. See, now you're just name dropping or something like that. Yes. You've seen my glasses probably when they've been at their worst. All good. Okay, yeah, right on. Wow, great. We got our first screen jump of the chats for the day, so I got to scroll back up and catch up to that. What happened at last week's live session is that I said something that could have been misinterpreted. I was talking about something in theory, and I was concerned that a very particular entity was going to be offended by what I said, and that it might find some way to impact me negatively. I may drop it back on. I may edit that part out and drop it back on later. In fact, that has been my plan since last week, but I just haven't had the time to do it, or the inkling for that matter. But I'll get around to it. If you're interested in revisiting that, then that's definitely something that you can do. Hugo Ramirez is here. He's not a regular anymore, so every time Hugo pops in, I get a little bit excited. Hey, Hugo, welcome back to the show. 6 pounds lost in a week and a half. Actually, a little more than a week. I think I started weighing on Tuesday of last week. I was right at 195 point something high, and I weighed this morning, and I'm at 194.2. I weigh at the same time every day. Every day. So I'm feeling pretty good about it. And when I say 6 pounds, yes, I'm rounding up. Can't stop me. Won't stop me. Can't stop, won't stop. Never stop, never stopping. Good movie. Finally saw it a couple weeks ago. Love it. Steve always works on Saturdays. That's a pity, man. I'm sorry for that. Doc Schmizzle is in the house. Howdy ho! Melissa K is here from Sweden. All right, man. I'm just getting I love all these. Doc, I think you're also from Canada, right? I know 14 Wellington's from Canada, but I'm assuming that you are too. Chris Colvin is here. Did I say that already? It feels like I've said that already. Probably because I've said it so many times throughout history. Chris is a droid builder extraordinaire. In fact, I have one of his droids around here somewhere. Little tiny Lola. You want to know what it looks like? Check out Polly's channel. He's got one just like it. He's working on a C-3PO now. What is it? Colvin Creations? Is that your net handle? Follow him on Instagram because it's fascinating to watch. And every so often I chime in and tease him about shit. So that's fun. Just reading everybody's here saying hello to everybody. Yes, I am in fact wearing my Obi-Wan Kenobi shirt. Let me just go ahead and clear that so everybody can see. Yeah, I wish I could remember the company that made this. And one day I will remember the company that made this, and I will tell everybody who it is, because they've got a few choice Star Wars things. It's mostly just text stuff. There's like no graphics, but they'll just feature like an obscure quote from Star Wars, like this one from Obi-Wan Kenobi. And it wasn't until after I bought it that it occurred to me, if I wear this thing out, it's gonna look like I'm being creepy. Yeah. So if I do wear it out, I need to be careful where I wear it. I better damn sure genuinely want to flirt. Which is not something I typically do. Kenneth Bird is here. Hello, Mr. Bird. Dude, the concert was fantastic. I wish that I had uploaded to OBS the video that I shot, though, of the crowd. In characteristic St. Louis crowd fashion, I felt so badly for Black Label Society because they worked their asses off. Zach Wilde is a metal powerhouse. He is a god among metalheads, among guitar players, and an absolute freaking legend of a guitar player. It has been since the 1980s. Worked his ass off for these people, and it had to have been just like playing to a freaking wax museum. Shameful, 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 shameful. Now I say that's me applying my own bias as to how I think an audience should be behaving at a rock show, and I do have an idealized notion of how an audience should behave at a rock show. I still remember when I was with my mom took my mom to see Bryan Adams in like 1995 or something like that. I still got a ticket around here somewhere. I just saw it the other day. It's in this drawer right next to me. But I took her to see Bryan Adams, and we were out of our seats, man, just rocking out to, I don't know, Kids Wanna Rock or One Night Love Affair. I don't even know. It was one of the songs. And dudes, everybody around us was just seated. We were the only two people in the entire section that were out of their seats. And people started throwing quarters at us. That's how lame St. Louis audiences are. Seriously. Now, again, I feel like that's my bias. I'm reminded of a story that an actor told once during an interview where they were performing a play in Japan. And at the end of the show, the entire audience got up and just walked out without making a sound. And he was just like, oh God, we really sucked. But it turned out that to Japanese audiences, that silence is a sign of respect. So it's entirely possible that St. Louis audiences have this thing where just staying there and just staying riveted on the performer, maybe that's a sign of St. Louis respect. If that's so, and you're from St. Louis and you know that to be true, let me know. Let me know, because I'm very, very curious. I want to understand why St. Louis audiences are so goddamn reluctant to engage with the band. You don't look cooler. You look like you're not having a good time. I don't know. Oh! Yeah, that would have just been one more thing for somebody to steal Bad Wolf. Bad Wolf Media offered to or lamented the fact that he didn't give me a magnet. That would have been gone in a heartbeat, man. Yeah, your logo is badass. Bad Wolf Media is just badass. I mean, I'm sure that somebody would have taken that. So, Meow Wolf? I don't even know what that is. Explain. Oh, yeah. I suppose that's probably it. Yeah. I mean, it's very clear YouTube absolutely hates you. Very clear. Yeah, man, Commander Green is a great photographer. I totally agree. I think I already said that. All the Fets. Yes, we're definitely doing a Fet video. Sure, sure. Have I got everybody? Have I said hello to everybody? Is it time to move on with our show? Just scanning through her. Oh, Figurassic Part Ahmed is here. Welcome, sir. Now I feel aged a bit after rearranging my collecting room. How do you feel aged? How did that make you feel aged? Was it exhausting? Is that all? Or is it because your stuff is so old? Explain. Inquiring minds want to know. 2 episodes of The Bad Batch and early Last of Us. Oh, is that what everybody was talking about? Oh, okay. What, did they drop Last of Us last night? La 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 la. Nobody tell me anything. I had nothing to watch last night too. I was struggling after I got off work late. Actually, I got off work and then I continued to work. Shh, don't tell my employers. They don't like it when I do that. Yeah, I am. Yeah, don't spoil it for me. If there's anything spoilerific, then don't spoil it for me, please. Maybe I shouldn't even talk about The Last of Us now because kind of freaked out. Okay. Because I saw somebody talking about how, I think it was Steve Nara, I think you mentioned something about, another uplifting episode of The Last of Us. I was like, okay. I assumed you were talking about last week's, and I was trying to think, what is it about last Sunday's episode that was so sad? And I couldn't think of anything. I mean, other than the obvious. I mean, when she shot that dude, that doctor guy. I felt bad for that doctor guy. Clesto is actually Prentice Martin Southwell, my old friend from back in my McMurray College days, a summer camp for smart kids for back in the 80s. Oh, wow, it's good to see you here. Now all we got to do is get Vernon Vincent in the house and we'll have the hat trick. That'll be awesome. Yeah, I actually just found out recently about McMurray shutting down over the pandemic. Did you know about that? Yeah, that's kind of lame. That's really, really sad. Gorgeous, gorgeous campus, and it's just gone. Just gone. Middle of nowhere. Middle of nowhere. I mean, Jacksonville, Illinois is pretty much the middle of nowhere. But man, it was a really cool place, man. I loved visiting there when I was young, and I always wanted to go back and explore it again as an adult. See how much smaller it had gotten after I grew. Can't stop, won't stop. I never could get into Overwatch. I bought it. I bought the full upgraded package, and I never really got into it. AJ Agrusa, Chris Colvin. I think everybody's here. I think I've said hi to everybody. If I missed everybody, I'm totally, totally sorry. The crowd during the Anthrax set was more energized. That is accurate. In fact, I got into a mosh pit for probably be the last time in my life, but I think it was the first time since. Jeez. I think my last mosh pit would have been Lollapalooza in Indianapolis, Indiana, when Metallica were the headliners, and one of the opening acts was Waylon Jennings. And I was moshing in a mosh pit in the rain, muddy-ass mosh pit, just a soup, moshing to the theme song from the Dukes of Hazzard. That was a good day. That was such a good day. I won tickets for free at a bar. 2 sets. I won twice. I entered my name, and I entered the name of an ex-girlfriend. Yeah. I offered them to her, but she didn't want to go. So I got two sets of free tickets. All right, so that was fun. I mean, the tickets included bus fare and everything. There was straight up a freaking, what do they call those? Those big ass buses. Oh, thanks, man. Thanks. It's gonna be fun. Yes, droids, vets, and clones. Actually, probably my favorite things in all of fandom. Droids, vets, and clones, right there, and helmets, Always a good thing to ask somebody on a first date. Hashtag things to ask on a first date. Yes, I got the Good Omens reference, but that was just too funny of a thing to say. I read that in Darth Vader's voice. Kumar, thank you, my master. Yeah, I read that in Darth Vader's voice. Hugo Ramirez, thank you. I've been addressing family medical stuff. Glad to be back in the channel. One sympathizes. Member of the family just got a bad diagnosis. Distant member of the family just got a bad diagnosis. But I like this woman a lot. I'm really, really sad. It's not a good prognosis. 6 months to a year on the outside, probably less given her age. But I'll be really sad to see her go. I understand. I hear you. Yeah, I feel for you, buddy. The company name isn't on the tag. Which company name? This is the thing about lag, about lagging behind. This is why I try to keep as caught up as I can. Ages ago, we saw Motorhead, Dio, and Iron Maiden. That's a freaking epic show. Crowd just ignored Motorhead. Ugh. Some people, man. Freaking Philistines. I swear to God. I'm sorry, guys. My list keeps jumping ahead here. Yeah. Dude, it really was. Before the show, they had a big banner up just blocking the entire stage. And right before the show, he peeked around the banner, just like squatted down on his knees, had his cell phone out, run it through the crowd, and just like, come on, just getting everybody to scream. And I'm just like, that is so epic. Rock stars don't do that kind of shit. I mean, that was just really cool of the guy to just, and you can just tell that's an early indicator of just how much he wanted to engage and rock out with that audiences. Band members feed on that energy, man. If you're not feeding that energy back to them, they're not going to be having a good time. They work hard, and if you don't give back to them, it just really can ruin their night. So if you're out there, you live in St. Louis, and this is your typical behavior when you're at a rock show, rethink your life. Oh, that makes total sense. That makes total sense. They released the episode of The Last of Us because of the Super Bowl. Not a football fan, so that didn't even occur to me that Sunday is the Super Bowl, which means I need to hunker down, gather all my ammunition, and just hide in a corner. I don't know why I need to do that. I don't know. There are things that I don't like to participate in as a general rule. The Super Bowl, St. Patrick's Day, and there was one other. Pretty much any of those weekend American holidays, Memorial Day, Labor Day, all that, I kind of just hide out. I don't go in for all that. even 4th of July, because I'm personally opposed to fireworks. Meow Wolf was an art exhibit in Albuquerque, New Mexico. It was a really long, strange trip kind of experience. A lot of very trippy artwork and blacklight art. Okay. All right. Cool. I'm going to screenshot that and look that up later. Thank you. I'm really into that idea. Hugo Ramirez, you hear all metal genres, or yeah, for the most part, I tried really hard to get into black metal. After discovering Ghost, after finding out about Ghost, after getting into Ghost, and I wanted to understand the source material of their aesthetic and all that good stuff. So I did a deep dive into black metal, bought a lot of albums, downloaded a lot of music, watched some videos when they were available. They're weirdly rare, but I guess given the time period of its emergence back in the 80s and 90s, that's not too big of a surprise. It's not like it's not exactly the most popular of music metal genres, but it does have its following. As I found out. I kind of dig what it did do for me is it led me into Salim Lamouchi and his band, which, God, what was it? That he played in with his sister. Not Blood Ceremony, but something along those lines. Salim Lamouchi is a really amazing European metal guitarist. I want to say he's from Denmark, or was from Denmark. He committed suicide relatively recently, just a few short years ago. Ah, God, I'm struggling to remember the name of that band, but maybe somebody can remind me in the comments. If anybody knows in the comments what Salim Lamouchi's band name is, I mean the one he's best known for. The name of their last album was The Thousandfold Epicenter. I suppose I could probably look it up. That's not how you spell thousandfold. And I'm going to be searching my library. That's still not how you spell thousandfold. The Devil's Blood is the name of the band. The Devil's Blood, The Thousandfold Epicenter, is one of the best albums I've heard in my life. Best I've heard in my life. Especially once it starts, I think it's track 3. No, track 6. Once you start track 6, it just becomes this never-ending sequence of interconnected songs that goes pretty much to the end of the record. It's mesmerizing. Absolutely mesmerizing. Check it out, The Devil's Blood. It is unabashedly, unapologetically satanic. Unabashedly, unapologetically. You are warned. But with that in mind, it's great, great music. Melissa K is right there with me as in not having seen it. So that's good to know that I'm not alone. I mean, I'm not celebrating your lack of having seen it, but it's good to have somebody to be miserable with. It's probably pushing it a little bit too much. Okay, yeah. Cleaning the dust from my figures and feeling tired. Dude, sometimes cleaning the dust can, depending on the amount of dust, cleaning the dust from figures can actually make me feel tired because of the allergy things that happen. I don't know. I can't. You're out in LA, dude, and I remember being out there. I didn't even bother putting my stuff in display cases. It doesn't matter when you're in SoCal. You're in the desert. The dust will find a way. It's so annoying. I don't have that issue here. I live in St. Louis. It's humid all the time, except in the wintertime, and there's no dust in the wintertime, so yeah. We all praise the superb owl. Thank you, Brandy Woods, for that nigh belly laugh. Oh, is that right? Yeah, man, I used to go there every summer. From like 4th grade all the way through 8th grade. Yeah. The last year I was there, we did like 4 days there and then went for 2 weeks to England. Imagine me at 14 being given free reign with a bunch of other teenage boys and girls to roam around England. They did cut us loose a lot. We saw a lot of cool stuff and guided tours and everything, but there were days where they just let us roam. Yeah, good times, good times. Looks like we got a super chat from the one and only Keith Lee. $1 for every pound lost rounding down. Thanks for being there for me, bro. That's hilarious. Do Hot Toys make Last of Us figures? Asks Steve131. No. No, they do not. That's not to say that they won't. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, they've already done a pretty solid Pedro Pascal. So yeah. Let's see. Yeah, are you? I mean, I am not a fan of any sports balls. I mean, I can go to a game and I can appreciate it. I've immersed myself in American sports, especially enough to be conversant. And I can go to a game and have a good time. I went to a baseball game over the summer. It's a Cardinals game at Busch Stadium. Great seats. Great seats. Thank you, my friend Sarah, and my friend Nick for dragging me to that. Nick was in town from Croatia, so it was kind of good to catch up with him. Droids, Vets, Clones, is that a new animated series like Love and Sex and Robots? It will be now. I'm going to get in so much trouble. I'm also now applying acrylic finisher to the pleather on my figures just in case. That is wise. That is wise where you are. Yeah, definitely. In fact... Oh, the tag... Thank you, Steve. Yeah, there's a tag, but I can't see it right now. I'll let you know. I'll let you know. I mean, I could take it off. No, nobody wants to see that. I've only lost 6 pounds. Got like... what did I decide? My goal is... My realistic goal is to get below 190. Ideally, I would like to get back down to 180, but we'll see how well that goes, and that's going to require some cycling. So I got to polish off the old bike. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I don't think I ever went to Rainbow. Oh, the big banner covering the stage is called a kabuki. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I actually did wonder about that at one point because you know, Ghost uses that. And there was one show that I can't remember if I saw it online or if I was at the show where when their kabuki dropped, they had a mess of a time getting it out of the way. Something must have gone wrong, or maybe they were just starting to use it and they didn't have the technique down. I don't know what happened, but it was messed up. You know what? You mentioned these things in a post somewhere. Prentice. That you're from Pennsylvania. Your wife's from. Yeah, they met in the middle. Yeah, that's right. Okay, that's why I saw you. I saw you talk about that on Facebook because of the two teams playing in the Super Bowl, and that's the only reason that I know who's playing. Our Captain Fordo is here. Hello. I'm intrigued to find out the best way to eat breakfast. That's a reference to something I said or did. Oh, breakfast tacos. Does it just say breakfast in the thing? I celebrated my 5 to 6 pound weight loss this week by pigging out on breakfast tacos. Therefore ensuring that at some point today I'm going to gain a lot of weight. Oh no, my friend Ann just tested positive for COVID. I guess it's a good thing I didn't have them over for movie night 2 nights ago. Dodge that bullet. Yeah, I'm sure my turn's coming. Still haven't had it. Anyway, knock on wood. I guess bamboo counts as wood. Let's see. Oh, intrigued to find out the best way to eat breakfast. Okay, I'm going to interrupt the whole hello thing. I think I've said hello to everybody by now. I would hope so, because that's just... Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we're all here. All right, I'm at the bottom of the comments. Breakfast tacos, I hit send too early. Yeah, you did? Okay, cool. Oh, adios, Prentice. Good to see you, man, as always. As always. I think it's the first time you've been in the chats. Anyway, hope to see you back. Breakfast tacos. I make... My breakfast tacos are a Tex-Mex style recipe loosely based on the concept of migas, which is, as I gather, the whole concept of migas involves basically utilizing stuff that's left over that's about to go bad. And I'm talking about like almost stale tortillas. I'm talking about potatoes. Like the stuff that I do, I just basically cube up I take a baked potato, chop it all up into cubes, fry it in a pan, throw in some tomato, onion, jalapeno, and a couple of eggs. Mix that all together with a lot of salt and pepper. Throw it onto a tortilla and eat it. In this case, it was multiple tortillas and like three massive breakfast tacos I had today. And I decided that I would experiment with sauces. I'd done a habanero sauce that I have here before, and it was great. Spiced it up, add a little bit of that habanero sweetness. Really liked that a lot, but I decided to try a few other things. So I tried the entry-level sauce from Hot Ones, the chili maple version. It was okay. Then I tried this other stuff, the yuzu sauce from Trader Joe's. Yeah, I think I kind of ruined a taco with that. And then that was just the first 2 tacos that I ate. Then I went back for more, got a third taco, just put the stuff on a tortilla and ate it. That's it. That's it. Best way to eat breakfast tacos is without the sauce. If the breakfast tacos are properly made. If the breakfast tacos are properly made. So I hope that answers your question that I posed myself. Oh yeah, Hugo says it best. Hit the like button, everybody. I never think about that kind of stuff, but I probably should start. Slipknot is smart. They use a roller and pull their kabuki up so it rolls up neatly and out of the way. Yeah, I've seen other bands do that too. It's really the best way to do it. Just not sure. If you're into black metal, you must be close to funeral metal for sure. Could you sleep hearing some funeral? I don't know funeral metal. This is the first I've heard of it. So I don't know. I'd have to do a deep dive. And again, I feel like my days of exploring black metal are pretty much done. I didn't find terribly much to love. I got into Cradle of Filth for a hot minute, but that got kind of old. Again, just Devil's Blood Ceremony. That kind of led into other bands like there was that resurgence of kind of psychedelic rock that came about. I picked up on that a little bit. Oh. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna look that up. Yeah, I'm all about experimental tacos, and actually America is all about experimental tacos these days too. Some of the stuff that you can get at Mission Taco, I think probably barely qualifies as tacos south of the border. So anyway, let's talk about yeah. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. For those of you who actually celebrate, I myself do not. I don't do anything for Valentine's Day typically. I'm trying to remember when my wife and I were together. I don't think that we did anything for Valentine's Day even. Although I did send her flowers this year. She's got flowers going to her on Tuesday. Spoiler alert. Hey, babe. If you're watching. Surprise! They're dead flowers. Yes, I'm serious. I sent my ex-wife dead flowers today. On Tuesday. Actually, that's just really being unkind. It's just a dried bouquet. But still. I thought it was funny, and I'm sure that she'll get the joke. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. R2 is visiting the local Virginia bar this morning. Have a good day, everybody. Are you out the door then? Okay, I guess that's what that means. Oh no, dude, Cradle of Filth is the real thing. Yeah, Danny Filth and Company. Yeah, they're the real thing. It's got to scream like a freaking diving eagle. It's crazy. I think that's what got me, is just hearing that scream. Legitimately sounds like an eagle cry. Yeah, very, very cool stuff. Again, it did get really old really fast. I'm trying to think of other black metal bands that I was into when I was researching, and nothing's coming to mind right now. I don't even have a playlist. I don't even have a black metal playlist that I can think of here. Lane Kramer with a $2 super chat. Thank you, my friend. Every little bit helps to keep us in music. You guys hearing the music okay? Because I feel like it's a little quiet. It was a little quiet. Bringing it up. Oh, here you go. Are you in Mexico? I don't know why I thought you were in LA. But yeah, you're right. I do need to go to Mexico. I've been thinking about it more and more lately. Just when so many people are just like, "Oh no, I'm not going to Mexico now." I'm just like, maybe I want to go to Mexico. Oh, raisins. Oh my God. Melissa K says that, spoiler alert, some people put things like raisins on their tacos here. Yeah. I don't know, man. I'd have to really rack my brain to come up with something that would work. Raisins in a taco. That would be very, very tough. Huh. Bad Wolf Media says he's not a huge spice guy, but for breakfast, I think salsa verde is perfect. A little bit of heat. Is there heat in salsa verde? I don't know. I don't know if there is. I think I'm so inured to heat right now that I just don't even experience. Yesterday, for those of you who follow me on Facebook, you've probably already heard this, but yesterday I made a Southwestern salad, just a mixed kit from Trader Joe's, just dumped it in. I was like, this thing's bland. So I reached for a bottle of the Hot One sauces that I thought was 68,000 Scoville units, and I dumped a bunch of it in. And it wound up being the Cosmic Disco, which is 103,000 Scoville units. And that, I felt it. There was a lot of it in there. I powered through. I ate the whole salad. It did not disrupt the flavor of it. It was very, very delicious. Cosmic Disco is a scrumptious sauce. I would put that stuff on almost anything, if not for the fact that it was so damnably hot. Steve Lane Kramer, I'm sorry, says, I have to unbox everything this weekend, and of course there is still unboxing all the hot toys. Save me, Terry. Oh yeah, and some of my statues. Jeez, dude. Yeah, you're like me with my books. All those books that I haven't read, and all those books that I've purchased and have not read. I know that a lot of book fans can sympathize with that. It's getting to the point where it's burdensome. Same thing can be said for some of my Hot Toys collecting. Like, I'm really glad that I've cut myself down to a figure a month, and I didn't buy a figure in January. I sent an email to my contact to send me my Axe Woves. It got stuck in the outbox because I can't remember my password, and my mail client on my iMac sometimes just forgets my passwords arbitrarily. Yeah. That's fine. That's fine. I've got another email account. Eventually I'll decide to send it, but there's other things that I want to buy. I'm going to a gun show next weekend. Not that gun show. Pew pew. That kind of gun show. So, yeah. Money might be better put towards something like that. Building a bug out bag. Everybody needs a hobby. I'm really curious about gun show culture. No, I don't think I've ever been to a gun show. I've been to boat shows. I've been to pop culture shows, comic shows. Never been to a gun show. And if the YouTube videos that I'm watching are any indication, that I'm in for an interesting time. Frequent use of terms like, if you're a free American. Yeah? Yeah, I think that's redundant, allegedly, but okay. The only fruit I've ever put on a taco was a mango jalapeno salsa, says Steve Nara. Yeah, I've got one of those here. I think it's mango jalapeno. There's also a bit of banana. Actually, it's pretty heavy on the banana. You can really taste that banana. It's the same stuff that I was putting in my lemonade last week. In fact, I need to reach out to the Heatonist in New York and order a couple more bottles of that stuff, because I so love. The name of it is Tropicante. I think it's Tropicante. Hang on, I'll find out. Yep, that's it. I swear to God, I'm not getting any kickbacks from Heatonist or Hot Ones or any of those places. But that is, first of all, a gorgeous bottle. Second of all, a great sauce. And again, I just dump it into lemonade. And lately, I started adding slices of jalapenos on top of that and infusing it a little bit before I start drinking it. And that makes it even better. Just drives that kick up a little bit more. Ah. Not a bottled salsa. Make it fresh. Best on fish or pork tacos, but good on any. Snob. Yeah, I bet it is, man. I really bet it is. That would be a lot of fun. Bad Wolf Media says he's talking about the medium verde, which is a little less spice than mild salsa, but it's just a little wake up for the taste buds. I get it. We're talking about culinary aesthetics here, and that's not something that you can judge. Yeah, you like what you like. Oh yeah, okay. We're gonna talk about that later. I just want to find somebody normal to buy from. I don't need any freaking wackos. That's the only reason that I haven't gone into any gun shops yet, because I'm just like, you never know what you're gonna get. I mean, again, I've seen some of these gun shows that have these gun stores that have YouTube channels, and I'm like, ugh, can't I just order online, have it shipped to my house? This is America, damn it. My first Wizard World in St. Louis was the same weekend as an RV show in the same venue. Huh, that's cool. That reminds me that we have it's con season. One more chance to catch COVID. One more chance to catch COVID. Oh. I already highlighted this chat, right, Lane? Did I? I don't know. Moving right along. Okay. Wanted to talk about Bad Batch. Is everybody caught up on Bad Batch? Let me know if you haven't caught up on Bad Batch. I'm all caught up here, but yes, please let me know. Oh, really quick, I just want to point out that AJ Agrusa just upped his cool factor by about 1,000% by saying he collects swords that he buys from a local smith at my Renfest. Bitchin'. That's the number one reason I haven't bought any swords, is because none of them are real. It's not. I want an actual forged sword. I want something that somebody made with his bare hands. And dude, mad props to you. Total respect. Oh, Kojima's here. What's up, dude? Herdez, I'm terrible at rolling my R's. Avocado hot sauce. I'm gonna screen cap that too, man. Here we go. Okay. That was a cool track, but I'm glad it's over. Oh. Adorable. But oddly enough, you know, I mean, I've been to so many huge comic book conventions, all right? I've been to, you know, all the ones out in SoCal. I've been to all those. I've been to multiple celebrations. In the past 10 years, the only comic book convention that I've been to where I was not recognized was the one here in St. Louis that I went to last summer. If I was recognized, then nobody approached me. It was amazing. My buddy Scott was disappointed. He was, for whatever wacko reason, Scott was just like, like hinting at people, do you know who this guy is? I was like, shut up, dude, knock it off. Let me enjoy this. Let me enjoy this. Oh, man. Yeah, totally caught up. Totally caught up. Rob's totally caught up. Okay, everybody's caught up. We've got the last 2 episodes of Bad Batch for the next level. Everybody's agreeing. I haven't started watching the Bad Batch yet, so I guess I'm out. You know what? Have you watched Clone Wars? Have you watched Rebels? Because I'm kind of feeling the people who are sleeping on the Bad Batch are going to be in the same position as the people who slept on those 2 shows were by the time that they ended. They're desperately trying to catch up so that they can remain conversant. And I think that the Bad Batch will wind up being at least as relevant as those 2 shows. Maybe not Clone Wars, but definitely as relevant as Rebels. So get on it. Get on it. Anyway, so talking... Oh, wow. Bad Wolf says that Fan Expo may not be doing St. Louis this year. That's fine. I don't care. Oh, hi, Gina. I guess you must have tuned out for a little bit and then came back. What was your most memorable fan interaction at a convention? Well, you always remember your first. And I don't even know the kid's name, but it was at a... it was at Celebration Orlando. And I just gotten there. I just walked in. And right away, some kid was walking by me and was just like, oh, hey, yeah, you're the action figure guy. You're the sideshow guy. The action figure guy. And I was just floored. I was just like, yeah. Talked to him briefly, and he was very overly polite. I could tell he was worried about bothering me, quote unquote, and he just kind of left me alone. But I was like, no, I wanted to be like, no, it's cool. No. Talk to me. Yeah, that's cool. Because it was my first time. Of course, the ones that always stick in my mind the most are the ones that happen randomly. There's a little pet boutique up in Lafayette Square Park in St. Louis called Four Muddy Paws that I go to buy food for my dogs, all kinds of things for my dogs. Great stuff. Great place. Great people running it. Highly recommend it to everybody. It's very popular. They're not going anywhere. They're going to be just fine. But I was there the other day buying sweaters for my dogs because it was cold. And when I say the other day, I mean like a month and a half ago. And while I was putting a sweater on Dobby, I heard somebody say Terry, and I was like, I looked around because it's St. Louis and it's a popular pet shop, and I'm looking around for somebody that I know, and I didn't see anybody. But there was a dude that was looking at me, and as I looked back down, he just said, I'm sorry, you wouldn't know me, but I watch your videos. Just random interaction with somebody from St. Louis at a pet store that I go to, a small pet store, not like it's PetSmart. And yeah, that was kind of cool. Another time I was at a Barnes & Noble buying a magazine, and I walked up the counter, and the guy that rang me up was like, oh, hey, you're the action figure guy. Yeah, so that's, yeah, just fun stuff. But the most memorable, and I think the one that I probably had the best time with, and not only in terms of, just his intelligence, and he was obviously a very interesting bloke, but he was also very enthusiastic about Sideshow and about just really clearly had an overinflated estimate of me, was Paul Hoofnagel, is his name. We're friends on Facebook now. I don't know if he watches the show, probably not, but really enjoyed talking with Paul. We were probably talking to each other for a good 15-20 minutes while I was standing around. I think I wound up having to break off the conversation because we were doing one of those giveaways where everybody was roaming around looking for Sideshow employees, and Autumn was having us go from like area to area just to make it more challenging for people to find us, and rightly so. But yeah, that was a good time. There were quite a few others, but yeah, Paul really stands out, and we had a good time, and I do enjoy interacting with Paul. Hope that answers your question. For some reason, I believe our time with Echo will end soon. I hope not, but it's just how the plot is moving, although I hope they end up living a quiet life like Hunter dreams. I don't know. Since you let that cat out of the particular bag, I'm going to go ahead and do something here. I'm going to start featuring a regular thing, I think. Let me know what you think of this, but if you guys have probably seen that whole issue of spoilers out of context. So I'm going to bring that to the show with the last 2 episodes of The Bad Batch right now. So this is a series of photos that are spoilers for the Bad Batch, but out of context, so they're not really spoilers. So as you're looking at this, I want you guys to like let me know, does it make sense? Do you get it? If not, then yeah, maybe I didn't do as good of a job. So here's the first image of a spoiler for the Bad Batch, the past 2 episodes of the Bad Batch. Obviously that is a how do I want to say it? That is a whistleblower. Yeah, someone blowing a whistle. Anyway, but I'm not even going to make any more comments anymore. That's it. I'm done making comments about them. You can just draw your own conclusions. But I felt like that one needed a little bit of help. So the next spoiler without context is, there we go. Let that sink in. And the next spoiler without context. Good times. I'm actually really enjoying these. Next spoiler without context. Yeah, if you've seen these, you know. If you don't, it's not giving anything away. And one more. Oh no, there's 2 more. No, there's quite a few more actually. Again, spoilers without context. Not really giving anything away, but once you've seen them, you will get them. Oh, what could that be? I had a good time with these. I had a good time. In fact, I gave Bad Wolf Media a little bit of a taste. yeah, there you go. And I think this is the last one, the very last spoiler for the past 2 episodes of the Bad Batch. There you go. For those of you who aren't aware, those are the panels that you line your walls with in a sound booth, so to speak. So there we go. Yeah, I think we can move beyond that. Get myself back here. Why do I still have that up there? Boom. All right, cool. Clear that off. Okay, Gojira liked it. TK421 liked it. Yeah, I think everybody liked it. So if I can remember, if I have the time, then I'll continue to do that. Because I really had a great time coming up with those. Okay. And yeah, I think, somebody brought up something earlier. Who was it? Let me bring that up. It was Kumar. It's like you said, there's something about Hunter wanting to end up living the quiet life. I think that's pretty obvious at this point. For a variety of reasons. And most recently, they basically canonized the fact that the clones' accelerated aging is a continued process, which is something I brought up in an earlier live stream as unclarified. I mean, we knew that they force grew the clones up to a certain point, but my thought was that's something that even modern science is aware that there is a way that you can just turn that off. So my guess would have been that in order to maintain the viability of their clone army, and keep them useful longer, make them less redundant over time. Coffee's getting cold. That needs a nuke. That they would actually turn that off once they got to fighting age. And it just doesn't make any sense that they would continue that. I mean, it would be a simple process to just flip it like a light switch and make that rapid aging thing go off. So my assumption was that they did just that. But what the most recent episodes of the Bad Batch did was solidified that thought in everybody's head. The rapid aging is a continued process even in the adult clones, which makes me kind of sad because I'm kind of doing the math half-assed in my head. And I kind of feel like that means that we're not going to have the opportunity to see a live-action Rex in shows like Ahsoka, which take place 7 years after Return of the Jedi, or in that time ballpark, 7, 8, 9 years. I'm not sure how far into that we are now. So that makes me very sad. I was really hoping that we'd catch Rex. And if they do, then he's going to be really old. And if we do catch Rex and he's not really old, they've got some splaining to do. Yes. There we go. Sometimes we have people who are actually working and watching at the same time. So, yeah. Somebody said something that offended me. Oh, yeah. That was Uber Dog. What's the matter with you? What's the matter with you? Yeah. Explain yourself. Wow. I don't understand that at all. I can't relate. I cannot relate to that. Oh, OG fan with Star Wars was just Star Wars has just shown up. Hello, sir. Hello, welcome back. He probably also doesn't like Clone Wars. Just it's in the name, dude. It's in the name. I'm not judging. Maybe I'm judging. Okay, I'm judging. Yes. That's the thing. That's the thing. And every time I try to introduce a new friend to the Clone Wars, I say the same thing. The first season for sure, second and third to a lesser extent, can be a task to get through. They were finding their footing with the animation. It legitimately took more than a decade for them to get to where they are now, which I would say would win over even the staunchest of animation critics. I'm not one of those people. I don't need all that. I do find there are certain things like I look at like Beast Wars, Transformers Beast Wars, Transformers Beast Wars, Beast Wars, and I'm like, ooh, I could not get into that at all for that very reason. And yet I was accepting of Clone Wars Season 1. A lot of it probably had to do with the composition. Compositionally, I think every shot was pretty much perfect. I challenge you to go through Clone Wars and not find a shot that's print-worthy. Or at least would be if they elevated the animation or the quality of the art a little bit more beyond where it was at the time. But yeah, what I always tell people is hang on till season 4, and that's when it starts to really show its guts, and it really starts to win you over. At least that's when it's really. I mean, I was in from day one, but when season 4 happened, it was just. There was a transition there. There was a palpable transition there, and I don't think we saw a transition to that extent until the season 8 came out. Season 7? The final season. Whatever it was. I'm losing track. Kumar asks, Terry, do you remember the Clone Wars series when we initially saw Senator Chuchi? The Rex Winter outfit was so super cool. Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah. Senator Chuchi has always been a consummate badass in the various series. I don't think she made an appearance in... Yeah, she would not have made the appearance in Rebels. Right? Did she? Yeah, she's probably dead by then. Something just happened. There was a flicker on my screen. I hope it doesn't bode ill. It was probably just my mail client doing something stupid, like syncing up with my Google Calendar. That's an irritating thing that happens. If I'm watching something full screen on this, every so often Google Calendar syncs itself, and it uses my mail client to do that, and my screen will split vertically. Like an actual email window will pop up. The screen that I'm watching will shrink down to half the size just for a flash, but it's enough to take you out of the moment, especially if something really cool is happening on screen. So Google, if you're watching, and why wouldn't you be, fix that, because it's just bullshit. Yeah, like the clones were trying. Okay, Bad Wolf Media brings up that the Karen Travis novels, I believe those were Clone Commandos, right? Yeah. And she was trying to find. He says that they were trying to find a way to stop the accelerated aging. I'm guessing you mean that the clones were trying to find a way to stop that. Yeah, that would be a priority for me. And again, it's something that can be done. There's a switch, legitimately a switch. And if they can do the things that they did in making those clones, then they definitely can do that. Mando versus 8 years. Which one? It can't be 8 years before the Battle of Yavin and 5 years after Endor. Right? Which one is it? Make up your mind. There we go. There we go. Okay, sorry. That one hadn't tuned in yet. Typing is very hard, I agree. That's why I like being on this end where I just click on y'all's comments and let y'all do this comment. How far out was Rebels from Bad Batch? Because Rex was pretty old in that. Yeah. Yeah, that's well, that's Rebels is right before because Leia was a teenager in Rebels, so less than 5 years before the Battle of Yavin. I've never actually seen it said, but somebody probably has that in their head. I do let Clone Wars watch BITD on Cartoon Network. I don't know what that is. Is that the original Clone Wars? All right, cool, man. Yeah, you get it. I want it done, man. I want to see it done. Transformers Beef Wars. Make it so, Hasbro. Let's do it. That's right. It's the toys you can eat. Coming to a summer barbecue near you. Barbecue near you. The verbal typos are just erupting from my lips today. Just erupting from my lips today. Child of the 80s says Bad Wolf Media. G1 Transformers, G.I. Joe, Dungeons and Dragons, along with Hanna-Barbera stuff. Is it Hanna-Barbera or Hanna-Barbera? Never knew. Yeah, bad animation is definitely relative. Definitely. I get that. And I think that for Beast Wars, like the whole computer animation thing was a new thing too. It was in its infancy. So it can be forgiven. And if you were of a particular age especially, then you can overlook that kind of thing. And I think that's my secret, is that I'm handicapped by a natural immaturity. Yeah, and it helps me just to continue to appreciate. Bad Batch is 1 to 2 years after Revenge of the Sith. That tracks. Yeah, so Rex. Yeah. It's entirely possible that the aging process slows incrementally. Well, I'm trying to figure out what the direction would be on that particular graph, but you get you take my meaning. One of the last books Boba was getting sick too from the cloning, just to a lesser extent. Always an interesting topic. Yeah, mate, I guess it could be. I guess it would all depend on how it was handled. I mean, since I haven't, the last book that I read was, I didn't even finish the Yu Zhanvong invasion. That's how long ago I stopped reading Star Wars books. Speaking of toys you can eat, says Gina B. Collecting. When is the last season of Toys That Made Us? With the next season, I'm sorry, the pointer, the cursor was over. When is the next season of Toys That Made Us? Love that show. Yeah, I was wondering that myself because it keeps getting recommended to me by Netflix every time that I tune in, and I get excited every time that I see it pop up onto the screen. I'm thinking that there's new episodes, and there never are. So I don't know. You get to a point where a lot of the stuff that they've covered is obviously so uniformly loved that it's going to attract the strongest possible audience. But after a while, that kind of pool is going to become gradually thinner. You know, the stuff that they're going to have to talk about is going to have a smaller and smaller audience until eventually you get into like the cult following sort of level. So I don't know, how long can that series last? How long? Have they done 90s stuff? I guess that they have. Yeah. But I guess that you could carry it forward into the, because there's movies that made Gen Y and Gen Z. Is there a Gen Z now? I don't know. I don't have any kids, so I don't care. That's why I stopped recycling. I did reduce my recycling. I'm not as anal retentive about it. Do you think the trooper in Obi-Wan series that Obi gave some credits to, how old do you think the trooper was? Yeah, I thought of that too earlier today when I was actually thinking about this topic, and I'm just like, he looked to be about the age, I assume that that's the age that Rex was when we saw Rebels. Because it's about that time frame. It's a few years before. Leia's 10 in Obi-Wan, and she's 14 or 15 in Rebels. I'm going to guess because she was 19 in... was she 19? 18 or 19 in A New Hope. So, yeah, I'm going to guess that probably about that same age. Yeah. We are definitely Gen X, my friend, and I've never been more prouder to be a part of anything. Yeah, I think that's it. My ex-wife was harsh on everything. Hated everything. I'm just ridiculously snobbish and extremely particular about what she considered worthwhile, and just eviscerated anything that didn't meet that standard. I remember going with her early in our dating career. I remember going with her and my friend Nincho Peryankov from Bulgaria to see Pirates of the Caribbean for the first time. And walking out onto the parking lot after the show, Nincho and I were just animated with joy over what we had just seen. Oh my God, that was amazing. Oh my God, when he did that thing and that other thing with the thing, it was just so cool. And Lindsay interrupted us to say, oh my God, that's the worst fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. I can't believe I just sat through that fucking shit. I thought we were going to break up on the spot. I thought it was over. Anyway, but thank you. Every now and then I say something funny. Every now and then. Not often enough, Keith. LB1 is halfway between Bad Batch and Rebels. That's... Have they said that officially? I think that's roughly. Again, because Leia's 10. In Bad Batch, she would be 1 or 2. That would make her 18 in Rebels. Which means, if that's the case, then Rebels is right before the Battle of Yavin. Right before Rogue One. And that's interesting. That would be interesting. I could see that working. I would like that a lot. Anyway, next subject. Oh my god, what's this? What time is it? 10:12? Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and push The Last of Us off the table of contents for today. I don't really have anything else I had to talk about today. Just coffee, no donuts. Not a lot of people in the chats today. It's really quiet. There were a lot of good years, Brandy Woods. There were a lot of good years. Oh, Dob Bear. Nice of you to join us, Dob Bear, from the not-so-sunny land of Scotland. Welcome aboard. You're unfortunately have to watch the bulk of this in a rerun because I think it's going to wrap up here in the next 15 minutes or so. Again, I don't think I have anything else that I wanted to talk about today. I think we pretty much covered all the subjects. That's pretty much it. Laugh it up, Fuzzball. Laugh it up. Oh yeah, I had books. Yeah, we're going to talk about books. Yeah, I just got so many books for like Christmas and birthdays. After finally seeing the movie, I decided I wanted to go ahead and read Dr. Sleep, so my aunt picked me up a trade paperback copy of that. Y'all familiar with this? If you're into wine whatsoever, this is the Bible. This is the Holy Bible of wine. If you really want to learn about it in as concise a way as possible, I highly encourage you to pick up Windows on the World Complete Wine Course by Kevin Zraly. Windows on the World, if you don't know, was the name of the restaurant that was at the top of the World Trade Center at the time of the 9/11 attack. So yeah, it's fuck. Oh, really? Dob Bear is fighting off a kidney infection. Way to make me feel bad. I'm making it about me. That's right. I'm so sorry that you have a kidney infection, dude. That's miserable. I've never had a kidney infection, but when I was 4, I had kidney stones. My only memory of it is calling the doctor a dum-dum because he was trying to give me a shot. Yeah. Mr. Imagination is just joining us too. Hello, John. Wow, we got a lot of people joining in now. Melissa K bought this book for his. Sorry, Melissa. For her brother. But yeah, again, this is just such a rich... This is my 3rd copy of this. I keep giving them away to people as gifts. And I gave away this. It comes in multiple editions. They keep updating it. And this is... I like this edition so much that I bought it again. Because as you can see, it's just so richly detailed and comes with maps and charts and photography. And it just breaks down all the different varietals and gives you a complete history, but a concise history of all of them. And I've learned when I was working in the wine industry, kind of, this saved my ass. This was recommended to me by my good friend Mark Maurer, who I've been friends with since like 4th grade, and he became a huge wine connoisseur, huge lover of wine. I highly recommend picking up that book to anybody who wants to learn about wine but wants to do it. It's not like Idiot's Guide to Wine or anything like that, or what's the other one? Cliff's Notes. Yeah, it's not that condensed. It's much more rich than that, but it's also easily digestible. And of course, the photos and the charts and the graphs and the maps all break it up nicely. Very, very easy to follow that. I'm just gonna follow through on here. Thoughts on new Ant-Man and Wasp figures? I've got to be honest, I haven't thought about them at all. They're not even remotely in my wheelhouse, and I've been too busy with other figures to worry about them at this point. The nature of my job is such that I don't always have the energy to focus on that which isn't released yet, because I have to focus so heavily on stuff that's about to be released. Yeah, so I don't really look at them until they're about to be released. I reserve my judgment until, especially stuff in Marvel, which I don't collect anymore, or anything else. Like Marvel, at least sometimes I'll look at. DC figures sometimes I'll look at, But if it's one of the more offbeat, if it's like Star Wars, Harry Potter, or any of those, I don't even look at those until they're released or until I have to do a video on them. I just don't have time. I don't have the bandwidth for it. That's a proper use of the word bandwidth. You know who I'm. You know who you are. You know who you are. Oh, there's a point of discussion. How long before the hope of toy collecting this diminished to the point of just few people is willing to collect? You know, that's up to our business leaders and our world leaders, my friend, and their ability to either save or damn the world economy. That's what it boils down to. So, I mean, if we get there's fat years and there's lean years, and I think right now we're moving towards lean years. Like I said earlier, I myself have been priced out of buying most things. I'm no longer collecting statues, and I'm down to 1 figure a month for 6 scale. That's a significant drop for me. So, and I'm sure I'm not alone in that. It's not the fault of the toy companies. They're only responding to the global economy. It's legitimately out of their hands at this point. Yeah, they could probably charge less for what they're making, but then they wouldn't have the resources to continue to make quality product. So I'm not going to damn anybody for the prices that they're throwing out there for figures these days. They're just responding to the market. But I will say that, yeah, it falls upon world leaders and business leaders, big business leaders. I'm not talking about like the CEO of Sideshow. I'm not talking about Howard Chan. I'm talking about, you know, Koch brothers. I'm talking about, again, people in big government. That's where it's at. That's what's going to save us or damn us. But not just that. There are circumstances that may be out of their control. I'm talking about global warming, which is going to continue to drive up the cost of food. We've already seen ripple effects of that happening. The reduction of oil production could have a negative impact on pricing for shipping, for sure. You just have to really look at it, just expand your mind, expand your knowledge base, and understand everything that goes into the creation of these products, the creation and distribution of these products, because everything has an effect. The war that we're seeing right now in Ukraine is affecting the cost of 6 scale figures. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Seriously, just God, I hate to use the phrase "do your research," but don't do research. Don't do research. Study, learn, and yeah, there we go. Moving really quick here. Oh, okay. I've never had German apple schnapps. Huh. Was your father I don't know how old you are, Dob Bear, but I'm assuming you're probably close to my age. Was your dad old enough to have been like in World War II, or was your grandpa old? I don't know what I'm asking. Forget it. Dude, I'm all about Marvel films. But there's just such a... I'm sorry, but I think my freaking beard is crooked again. Why does this keep happening to me? Anyway, moving on. Where was I? I was doing books, but I want to recover from this before I do. Yeah. I usually do Tuesdays. I try to do Tuesdays. I didn't used to do Tuesdays because of Unsealed and Revealed, but since that's gone, I have my Tuesdays free now. I'm self-consciously playing with my beard now. Yeah. The mention of the war is a big deal. People don't seem to grasp that plastic is a petroleum product, so when oil prices jump, toy prices jump. I don't know why that's so hard to grasp for some. Smarts exist on a sliding scale, my friend. They do. It's irrefutable. And education exists on a sliding scale as well. Not that matters much for anything. I think statistically, I won't go there. But what I will say is that I frequently have issue as somebody who is concerned for the environment, and historically has been ridiculously concerned with the environment to the point of almost being a fault. The fact that my industry that I'm involved in relies so heavily on a petroleum-based product has been a point of contention for me. It's been something that I've had to struggle with in the past. I've kind of gotten over it. Again, I don't have any kids, so I don't have a dog in the hunt. I mean, you guys do what you're gonna do. I'm not even remotely. Once I'm gone, I'm gone. It's on you guys. You're the ones that have to look your kids in the eye and say, yeah, we did this. It's up to all you people who are procreating. Yeah, you're the ones who. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not saying that I can die with a clear conscience, but I don't have anybody to make me feel guilty on my deathbed. Thanks, bro. You know what it is? It's probably just the lighting. You know what it is? That's what it is. It's this freaking kick light back here. It's totally highlighting this side of my beard while I've got nothing highlighting it over here. So it's just making it appear fuller. That's all that it is. Oh, dude, shut up. You're a baby. Wow. Man, my wife's older than you. Ex-wife. And that's saying something. She's young. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah, my dad served in the 60s. My dad guarded John F. Kennedy. I think for like 2 minutes. Biggest point of pride of his time in the Air Force. He got to see the back of John F. Kennedy's head when he left a room. Oh, does it really? With your magnificent mane? Man, that surprises me. There was an accident in Ohio? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Where was I going with this? There was a... Oh, wow. Okay. Next book. We already talked about American Growth Task. This is From Seven to Eternity, which is an amazing, amazing limited series written by the inestimable Rick Remender and illustrated by, I don't even know how to say his name, but I'm going to go with Jerome Opeña. But just the art in this thing is just, I'm trying to find some really, it is next level. It is next level. I'm just look at this gorgeous artwork. Just beautiful. The use of shadow, the use of color is so on point. The line work is ridiculously crisp, super, super sharp. The character design is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Why am I leaving this comment up for you guys to have to look through to compete with this? Because, damn, I just love this. I started reading, I read the first 2 issues, and I stopped because I'm like, I need to binge this. And then I got all the issues, but I didn't want to open them. And then they announced that they were going to be making this, and I jumped right on it. But I mean, the artwork totally gives me like, it's like got a very serious Isad Ribic vibe. He's that Isad Ribic is that fabulous Croatian artist who did such great work on Thor in the Jason Aaron days. Whose work is very reminiscent of, in my mind, of that of evocative, I should say, of the great Frank Frazetta in a lot of ways, especially his cover work. Amazing, amazing stuff. Yeah, I really can't. I'm going to spoil this book for myself. I can't allow myself to do that, so I'm going to put it down right now and move on. But raise your hand if you've watched if you've read Seven to Eternity. I know somebody earlier said that they had, or were going to. Oh, there's a train derailment with a massive chemical spill. That's not very recent, right? That was just a few days ago. Ah, Jesus Christ, that sucks. Maybe it was a new one. Something else happened in Ohio recently. They evacuated a whole town. They said there wasn't that big of a deal, though. AJ Grusa is bailing at about the same time as last week, so I'm assuming you have a regular thing. Mr. Imagination loves Frazetta's work. That just means you have eyes and you've seen it. Yeah, that's my take on Frazetta. Seriously, I mean, that's better. That's my take on Frazetta. He's just, you can't not love his work. Yeah, some of it's probably better than others, but so good. Cool book. I've not seen it in the comic shows around me, says Hugo Ramirez. Involving, are you talking about Seven to Eternity? It's worth looking into. I think that hardcover I just got had a very limited release. It may or may not still be available on Amazon. Let's find out. Really bummed about my friend Anne getting COVID. Sure, she'll be fine. She's vaccinated. Let's see. 7 to Eternity Deluxe Edition is currently available for $46.90. Same day delivery at my place from Amazon.com. Yeah, so check it out. Check it out. Because once they're gone, as I understand it. They're not going to reprint that. Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. That's really, really a shame. Getting back to that disaster in some part of Ohio. I used to spend a lot of time in Ohio. Southern Ohio. I never made it north. Yeah. Let's see. Ha! Next book. This has been on my wish list for some time. The Dark Crystal Bestiary. Came out in 2020. And I've been wanting it for a really, really long time, but just it's illustrated by Iris Compiette. I have no idea who that is when I'm looking for, but Brian and Wendy Froud are do the forward. You know, obviously Brian Froud he did the bulk of the concept art and the creature design for. Look at this. I don't know if you guys have seen the Dark Crystal TV series that came out on Netflix, but few things. I lament the loss of few shows as much as I lament the loss of the second season of that show, and that began my current disdain. There's no better word for it. Disdain for Netflix. Just the way that they do things, which is they manipulate the numbers in such a way as to maximize profit. Oh, I just described a capitalist agency. So be it. But man, I'm just really looking forward to just going through this just as much in much the same way that I go through all my art books. Usually. Fizzgig! Fizzgig! Oh, of all the books that I'm about to show here, that I'm showing here today, this is the one that I've come the closest to actually picking up and reading. I almost picked it up last night and went through it, but anyway. Aha! Dan Slott is in the midst of an epic run on the Fantastic Four. There has rarely been a more divisive, depending on how you pronounce it, writer in comic books. The things that he did with Spider-Man, you either love him or you hate him. I think the most vocal people were the detractors. Don't care. He did some cool shit with Spider-Man. I enjoyed it a lot. And for current artwork in comics, this is above average. I mean, it's good. It's really, really good. I've got to say that that Central and South Americans, as well as Europeans, Eastern Europeans especially, and Spaniards, are really, really crushing the comic book market. You don't see a whole lot of American artists in comic books these days. They're all internationals. And wake up, man. Come on, where's that American exceptionalism? We need that. I just want to see my neighbors as comic book artists. Not really. Looking at you, neighbor next door, who will never be a comic book artist. All right, and last but not least, definitely not least, I think it's the heaviest one of the bunch, is Volume 1 Omnibus of the Avengers by Jonathan Hickman. I've been waiting for this for a long time. I mean, I think I pre-ordered it a year ago and it finally came out. It got to me like 2 weeks ago. And big, heavy tome, dudes. But again, amazing artwork. I mean, the thing about Hickman is that he is a designer. Historically, that is his graphic design is his background. So what he brings to the table in his comic book writing is an understanding of design that escapes a lot of comic book artists. So, and he really you can tell that he really, when he gets control of a comic book, he legit takes the helm. And I can't speak. I mean, I've never been in the idea house of ideas with the guy, so I don't know exactly how it works. But my guess is that, yeah, while he probably does allow quite a bit of creative control to the artist, he also has a very firm idea about how he wants things to look. Another writer that does that is Brian Michael Bendis. You can tell a Bendis book there are certain key giveaways, like in a Brian Michael Bendis book, just as much as there are in a Jonathan Hickman book. In fact, one of the complaints that I had about Jonathan Hickman's run on X-Men was that it was a little bit too Jonathan Hickman. Like, it's like eventually they just let Grant Morrison have free reign when he took over Batman, and that's when I was just like, okay, you guys need to like put that guy on a leash. He's just getting a little too crazy. And of course, history proved me wrong on that, so it'll probably prove me wrong on the X-Men thing too. But yeah, I mean, just this is where we got now. Just so for those of you who don't know, this is legitimately the book that gave us the Avengers movies that we have today. Seriously, I mean, look at this. This is seriously the lineup when from the very first issue, the lineup for the Avengers is listed right here, and I'm going to show it to you, and you're going to be like, oh, that looks familiar. Captain America, Iron Man, Black Widow, the Hulk, Thor, and Hawkeye. Gee, where have I seen that before? Yeah. And of course, we're talking about, this is where we get, I want to say this is where we're introduced to Proxima Midnight and certain other members of the Black Order, but I could be wrong. It's been a long time. Again, this is one of those lines that I stopped reading because I wanted to be able to read it all. And really looking forward to this. This is going to occupy like an entire weekend. And Volume 2 is coming out in a couple of months. So I've got that to look forward to. Next book on the list, I want to say, is I just found out I've re-released the omnibus of Dan Slott's, Dan Slott and Mike Allred's take on Silver Surfer. And I don't know if you guys know how big of a fan I am of Silver Surfer. I've got both sideshow pieces. And yeah, it's well, both statues. I don't have the Hulk versus Silver Surfer anymore. More's the pity. Anyway, but I've been rambling. What's happened since I've been rambling? Yeah, it really is, dude. It's very nice. It's very nice. It does. The bestiary is amazing. Yeah, I just can't wait to just sit back, make a mug of tea, and just peruse it. In fact, I might even break my wine hiatus for that. Nah. One thing I think I discovered since giving up my daily glasses of wine is that I don't really like wine. I don't. I finally had wine again for the first time in a long time at my aunt's house, and I was just like, ugh. So I think my wine days are done. Still like whiskey, though. It just doesn't like me. Oh, God. I don't know, man. I'm going to be dead in 20 years the way I'm going. So I hope they do it before then. That's something else that I thought of with that. You know, for those of you who are just driving around listening, Dob Bear says, love Dark Crystal, shame they don't plan on more, but maybe in 20 years. I also thought about that involving with Tron, because they released Tron Legacy and it was amazing. 20 years plus, no, 30 years. Oh, God, 84, 14. Yeah, so 30 years. 30 years after the original, they released Tron Legacy. Maybe it was 11. I can't remember when that came out. But the beauty of that was that there was such a sharp contrast in the technologies that in those 30 years, I mean, the technology had leaped so far forward that you saw just this dramatic evolution that came across on the screen. It's beautiful, beautiful to see. And they planned on almost immediately doing a follow-up to that, rounding out a trilogy, so to speak. And they walked it back. Scuttlebutt has it that the reason that they walked it back was because they got a hold of Star Wars, they got a hold of Marvel, and they were all of a sudden making billion-dollar movies for all intents and purposes. And they decided that their money was better put into more Marvel properties, more Star Wars properties. And Tron got the axe because better to make a billion-dollar movie than a $100 million movie. And I fucking hate that psychology. I fucking hate that line of thought, that business model. I get it. but it would be, but we're going that way more and more and more. Now, my own experience with films has actually reflected that, because the bulk of my movie going experience over the past 3, 4, 5, 6 years has been centered on Star Wars, on Marvel, on DC properties, pop culture stuff. And I've actually thought they're not doing a whole lot of really cool stuff. Where are the glory days of the 90s when we had all the independent films and films were intelligent and on top of being fun to watch. And what I found out recently is that I just haven't been looking hard enough. They're still out there. They're still out there. And I think I'm not alone in lamenting the unwillingness of big studios to greenlight projects beyond pop culture related materials. I think that is definitely unevenly balanced, and it probably could, for the sake of the culture and for humanity as a whole, I think it would be better if we shifted away from that a little bit, or brought more of that smarter sensibility, or the more of the independent film sensibility to a Marvel project or two. That could be interesting. That could be interesting. Stuff like Legion, which I still need to finish. You know, just make me think. I want to think. That's why I liked Andor. That's why I feel like so many people didn't like Andor. I've got a guy who sprays my house for bugs every 3 months. See, we've talked about Andor twice now. Both times it's been the exact same response. Yeah, I didn't like Andor too much. I didn't like Andor too much. I don't want to have to think when it comes to my sci-fi. I want to be able to just have fun with it, you know? Yeah, he's got an accent, and I think I just nailed it. Ooh. Really? Who the hell says bestiary? French Canadians. That's racist. Love the Dark Crystal. Yeah, that just means you're a human being, dude. Seriously, Melissa, it's such a great. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I did see it relatively recently, like in 5 years ago, and it holds up. It really holds up. And the TV show is just so perfectly done. So perfectly done. They said on the live stream of somebody who's going shopping for guns sometime soon. Oh, man. Kraven's Last Hunt is one of my favorite stories of all time. In fact, that might be the story that made me realize that made my expectations for comic book storytelling leap to a whole new level. Yeah. Both in terms of the gorgeous, gorgeous artwork and just the storytelling in general. Everything about that book was perfect. That was also at about the same time that I was getting into DC's Vertigo, so I was expecting a more mature and maybe even a darker tone to my books. I was looking for that. This current direction that I'm seeing in a lot of Marvel of more lighthearted, almost more kid-friendly, I feel like that's corporate-driven. They've definitely taken a step back from what I consider to be the glory days of Marvel Comics back in the aughts, with Brian Michael Bendis and Ed Brubaker at the helm of books, Grant Morrison doing stuff, Mark Millar, the Ultimate Spider-Man, the Ultimate Universe. All of that was just all that stuff that was the reason why 1, 2, 3 phases 1, 2, 3 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe were so great, was because it drew upon those years so heavily. But now there's just this weird directional shift that's driving comic books back to being more kid-friendly. And I'm just not confident in the ability of the MCU to draw on that as source material and maintain the engagement with an adult audience. And I think that we're seeing evidence of that. I'm finding things to love in all of the new stuff. I really am. But I think that I'm concerned. I'm concerned about the direction, and I really hope that I'm proved wrong. It does happen. It does happen frequently. Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, that's spot on. At first, I wanted to argue with you, but then I realized, okay, no, you were talking about like the youthification of Jeff Bridges. Yeah, it definitely wasn't there yet, but they've got it now. Give it another 5 years, 5 to 10 years, and they could perfect that. So depending on how slash patient they are, or how long it takes them to convince the brass to greenlight it, we could see a huge shift in the technology by the time we get one. And I'd welcome that. I would consider that to be worth the wait. Yeah, I saw that in, they did a great little documentary short on Disney Plus, where they featured the artwork. I can't remember the names of the artists, but there was the woman who did the art for Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, and the guy who was doing the artwork for Miles Morales Spider-Man at the time. And they're heavily digital in the way that they work, and you can see that they can just crank stuff out, which helps. JP Mavinga, who will eventually be on the show, I know I keep saying it, and I had a discussion, and he's of the opinion that the best way to really get American graphic literature to elevate itself is to remove the grind of the monthly book. Because when you force an artist to meet a monthly quota, so to speak, to generate a book a month, a certain page count every month, then that artist's work begins to suffer. You're not getting their best work. The best system is to do self-contained graphic novels, and then assign a writer and an artist. Who's your dream team? Who's your writer, artist, inker, colorist, letterer dream team? And have them generate a story. Give them a time frame. Or not. Give them all the time that they need to just create the best book that they can. And then publish it. Probably not a good business model, but man, it would generate some great shit. And I would love to see that. Oh. How do I feel about that? I don't know. Galactus maybe needs to be the big bad. The same way that Kang is going to wind up being the big bad of this phase of the MCU. But I feel like Thanos was a good start. Kang is a acceptable secondary character. Wow, who's going to be is it going to be Beyonder? Now we're going to have Doctor Doom, and the whole Doctor Doom Beyonder thing leads you right into Secret Wars. That could be great, as long as they do the Hickman Secret Wars, and not the original. The original obviously is a classic, and we wouldn't have a lot of things without it. For me, I don't know if I would have been a collector of comics to the same level as if I hadn't been exposed to all those characters in Secret Wars. But it's the Hickman Secret Wars is clearly the superior product. I would like to see that followed, and just the fact that Doom was able to usurp the powers of was that the Beyonder even? They did something involving all those incursions, which we've already talked about incursions. I don't know. I'll have to give this some thought. I've walked away from comics a little bit too much. My understanding of them and my knowledge base has shifted a little bit. I don't think anybody will begrudge you that. I think that's quite reasonable. Yeah. You know, that brings up something interesting, Melissa K. As I've always been curious to see the director's cut of that particular film. As I understand it, there's a cut in which he focused heavily on the body horror aspects of the Fantastic Four, which really appeals to me. That whole notion that you go up into space, a completely normal human being, and you come down and you can't see yourself, or you're on fire, or your skin is turned to rock and you're this hideous thing. Everything about you stretches. Anyway, but that would have been something to see. And then you can almost sense when you watch that film, that Fantastic Four reboot film, you can sense there's a thing that happens right after they turn. And they have just brief glimpses of that body horror aspect, and then there's a sudden sea change in the whole film. And it's like it becomes a completely different film at that point. You can sense the filmmaking by committee. It's like running into a wall. For me, it was. I don't often feel anger when watching films, but I remember feeling the anger of realizing what happened there as I watched it unfold. But yeah, I would very much like to see the director's cut of that. I know opinions vary on that, but Why not? Not everybody had a lightsaber. Not everybody needs a lightsaber. It's a big galaxy. Personally, I kind of appreciate the more personal stories that we get. Something like Andor, I mean, it's more accessible, and it's definitely smarter television. I don't think there's any refuting that. And even my exterminator guy who comes in here, even he says that even he recognized it. He's just like, I don't want my sci-fi smart. Did they? I don't remember that. Oh wait, are you talking about what's his name? You're talking about Mr. Emily Blunt, Mr. Emily Blunt. I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now. John Krasinski? Yeah, was that him? That was who they got, right? Why am I flaking on that? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed that bit. I enjoyed the Illuminati a lot because I was there when Bendis created them and read that book, and yeah, I thought it was a great idea. Just kind of rides on the coattails of that whole deep state paranoia. It's like, man, what a way to take advantage of that in the comic book world. If we ever got a Spider-Man 4, I would love to have seen Bruce Campbell as Kraven. Yeah. No, I don't think I could get on board with that, bro. I think, yeah, there's a lot better guys out there to play Kraven the Hunter. Oh wait, was he gonna play Kraven in the Sam Raimi version? Is that what you mean? Oh, I can't explain it, but for some reason my attitude toward that just shifted. Yeah, I would love to have seen that if he was at the helm. I would have loved to have seen that. Yeah, dude, it's been a hot minute. I think I last read it in the 80s. Yeah, that was the last time that I read anything by Arthur C. Clarke, was in the 80s. But yeah, man, that's good stuff, dude. That's good stuff. 2010, I thought was brilliant. I mean, it was obviously more mainstream. Same with the movie. It was just kind of whatever, Hollywood sequel. But yeah, it's good books. Great stuff that from the early days of sci-fi. I read very little Asimov, I'm embarrassed to say. I read Foundation. Then oddly enough, I skipped all the way to Foundation's Edge. You know, I skipped all that other stuff. I never went back and read the others. But I did read a good deal. I did finally read Frank Herbert, like in the 90s. I want to say I finally started reading Dune. Took me a long time to get into that, for whatever reason. Anyway, let me move along here, because it's getting close to 2 hours. They use for digging Luke and Mandalorian. Oh. Still not calling a Book of Boba Fett, huh? Oh, yeah, you are. Okay, never mind. Near perfect. Yeah, I was not a fan of that. I actually preferred the first take on it. I did. I actually thought it looked more like Luke from that time period. And I definitely saw the face of the actor that they got to substitute for Luke, the stunt actor, if you will, in what was supposed to be Luke Skywalker. Maybe it's because I actually watched the behind the scenes and I saw the face of the guy, but I see way more of that actor than I do of Mark Hamill. So yeah, when it came to that, I was just like, that's a step back. But again, I'm fine with it. I still got the story. That's all that mattered to me. Is it going to be, though? Is it going to be? I'm not convinced that it is. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen yet. And I think that Leto will move on to other things before it does. I don't. If it moves forward and if it happens, then great. But I don't think it's going to happen. Yeah, actually, Brandy, that's interesting. That's one of the things that JP mentioned, was that he was holding up the French graphic novels as an example for what he meant. And yeah, you can definitely see the improvement in the art quality when you look at the French graphic novels as compared with the American ones. You give an artist time to perfect his craft, and he's going to do it. But it's that grind, that need to meet a too short deadline that not every artist can pull off. Most can't. Fox went off the rails with their last few takes on comic films. They didn't know what to do with the X-Men. They lost the throws. Fantastic Four. Deadpool worked. Yeah. That's it. Because they were hands off. And again, I'm just pounding that pulpit with that whole corporations need to be hands off, man, and let artists be artists. Micro adjustments here and there, but really lay off. When a director tells you why something's not going to work, assume that he knows what he's talking about. I myself did not. Speaking of Secret Wars, I feel like one of the biggest takeaways from that storyline was the Spider-Man black suit. I hope we see it in this phase. I think that was already dropped. At the end of No Way Home, when Venom makes his way back to his own universe, leaves behind a branch of the symbiote. Count on it. We're not going to. We probably won't see the original origin of it, but I think that you can count on seeing the symbiote suit make an appearance sometime in the future. I don't know. I don't know what their long-term plans are. If anybody does know, let me know. I say no too much. Doc Smizzle's right there with me. Yeah. Which is interesting because they brought on that guy who clearly made improvements over the season 2 Mando, Mark Hamill CGI, in his own personal stuff in order to help them with that CGI in the Book of Boba Fett. And I don't know what happened there. Weird. Oh, dude. Oh, that's crazy. Nice work. I just recently found the entire card set, and I'm sure that these are in abundance out there. A mint set of, complete set of the Valiant trading card set, the OG Valiant trading card set. And had forgotten, I don't think I appreciated Valiant comics nearly enough. I mean, I knew that it was good and I recognized what they were trying to do. Just basically becoming the antithesis of Image Comics. And I appreciated that. But I don't think I fully recognized just how gorgeous it was. Just seeing the art of Joe Quesada and Bob Layton and all those greats just come to life in this whole new universe. And I don't have them anymore. I let go of all those books for like a dime a piece back in the 90s, late 90s or something like that. I just didn't have any room to store them. So I just unloaded them at a comic book shop. Melissa K's got to head out. So do I, Melissa K. It's getting pretty late. And it looks like I'm at the end of comments. Sorry, what? That's interesting. All right. I don't know what this is. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. It might be that a memory jogger will happen and I'll remember it. But Kumar says, imagine you want to negotiate with Wanda and you tell her Black Bolt can destroy you in a blink. Okay. That's good. Yeah, that was pretty dumb. Yeah, I'll grant you that. That's fair. Ultra Flare Marvel. I did not, Gina. That was not in my wheelhouse. I didn't do a whole lot of card collecting. So many things. Collecting has made of regrets. One of my collected regrets is that I had a shoebox full of Magic the Gathering cards and threw them away. First original Magic the Gathering cards. Threw them all away. Yeah. Big collecting regret. Do I like the Has crap? Oh, God. Sorry, Hasbro. I don't know what that was. Not at all. Do I like the HasLab Razor Crest? I'm on the fence. I have the HasLab Razor Crest. I've never opened it. It's still sealed in the box. There's a toy shop near here where they have one on display. And I was never impressed enough to open up mine. I do have every intention of selling it in the very near future. In fact, one of the things that's on my list of things to do this weekend is to throw up onto eBay my Anovos Darth Vader helmet, my Anovos Mandalorian helmet, and potentially my EFX Collectibles X-Wing, which should fetch me a few thousand, and get them out the door and pay off a credit card. So yeah, that actually might be added to the list. Yes, Hascrap is indeed something of a Freudian slip, Keith Lee. I understand that Hasbro is experiencing a significant PR challenge at the time. I don't know a whole lot about it, so I can't comment on it. I don't know. Hasbro is made of people. I mean, it's made of people, and people make mistakes. Some mistakes are forgivable, others should not be permitted to go unanswered. Flirting too close with dangerous territory on this subject, so I'm going to move on. Yeah, I don't know Berserk. I don't. I have no knowledge of that. So, is it Dave Muira? Because I think I know that name. Muira? I don't know. I'll look it up. Another one of my screen caps here. This is a cool tune. My trunk. I'm sure it does, my friend. I'm sure it does. All right. Are you talking about the Ghost Rider movies? Yeah. Those could have been better. Anyway, guys, it's top of the hour. It's been 2 hours. Longest live stream I've had in a minute. And I'm going to let you guys go because, again, I have things I need to accomplish this week. Not the least of which is getting my dogs outside before I've got another puddle to clean up. So thanks, as always, for joining me and helping my weekend get off to a great geeky start. Really appreciate all of you for taking the time and hanging out with us today and every week. Looking forward to next week. For those of you who are going to be tuning in with me tomorrow night is another, I'm sure is another Paul Sun-Hyun Lee live stream on Bitter Asian Dude Incorporated. Hashtag Free Piper indeed. Thank you, Brandy. Yeah, I'll be joining in there at least for a little bit. Oh, Super Bowl Sunday. I wonder if he's even going to bother doing a live stream. Probably not. Well, if he's there, I'll be there because I'm sure as hell not watching the Super Bowl. Yeah. All right, y'all. Thanks again as always. And for those of you who threw in for the super chats, I very much am grateful to you for that. It's totally unnecessary. So when it happens, I'm just always pleasantly surprised. Yeah, looks like everybody's really into the Super Bowl. Good for you guys. You all have a great weekend, what remains of it, and I will talk to you next week, if not sooner. All right? Take care now, and as always, be good to your plastic.